Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's continue the session where we left off with respect to the Git. So in the last session, in the last video, we learned through some of the basic things like installing the Git. Um, Again, based on whether it's a Windows platform or Macintosh, you can just go to the Git and Git site and install your installables. Last time we also learned about doing some of the basic configs like setting up the username, email, and your branches. And also last lesson we also learned about git status, git add, where it let's say you've done some changes and you want to add to the staging, you use git add, and again then at the end you do the git commit with a message so that anyone or for yourself also why you did that commit and kind of a short comment I would say for this. This is all what we learned last time. So here's the one exercise which I want you to focus or do without me saying anything about it, but this is also very important to you as a person learning about the Git help. Okay, so for example, you have already set these three values in your Git repository, like your username or your email or your default branch, right? So here's the homework or assignment, which I would say, which you have to do upon and look upon is how you can get, let's say, for example, you never had this, I'll just removing it, and I'm saying, okay, find out what is that has been set in the user.email, how you can find out. So I'm giving a hint. This, um, so let's say I'm going git and so let me break up in this in two steps. So one is I'm just doing git help. I think this we saw in our first video. And when I do this, it gives me a generic help. And similarly, let's say if I do git status help, it gives me more specific help for the git status command. So if you see, it will give this is a usage, these are the different options which you can use and so on. And you can apply that. And again, if you want more detailed version of this, there's also another one. Most probably if you type this git status dash dash help and enter, this gives a very detailed one. So but when you do this, I'm sure in Windows machine this most probably gets opened up in the browser, and yeah, you can, it's a most detailed version. You can read through about git status, what all things you can really do with a git status. um, but for now I'll just come out, you can explore this by yourself. So the same way, okay, I want you to explore this git config which you have used, this git config command. So I want you to go git config help. Yeah, you can use the detailed help or the normal help and try to find out, is there a command which can be used from this based on which you can retrieve the data or the values which has been set in your user.name or your user.email or init.default. Now, is there a way from this you can retrieve it? Please let me know, and uh, I would love to see how you guys learned and got the value out of it. I hope you got the assignment. I'll repeat once more. The assignment is you have set all these three values in your global variable using git config command. I want you, so let's say I'm just removing this. I want you to find a way through the same git config command. Is there a way you can retrieve those global variables? So please share that and I'll go through that whatever result which you have got. Okay, now let's move on. The next thing which so in this session, I let me go to my local repository. Okay, so in this, I want to spend a little more time on um, the things which we have committed. There are a few more commands which we learned in the last session was git diff and git log. Let's talk a little more on that. So let me go. So for example, I have a git local repo which we created in the last session itself. You can create a new repo if you want, or you can use the same existing one. So this was the one which I created last time. And I have few files, the test files. We also created some files inside the subfolders and so on. So it's the same project folder which I have opened in the uh, Visual Studio. So I'm just going and adding something. Let's say adding third line of my code, and I'm just saving this. This hello.txt, as you see, is inside the subfolder, and I'm just going to now. You have learned about git commit. So okay, before I do git commit, the thing which you have learned in last session, you do the git status, and it says, hey, you know what, you have one modified file sitting in your thing, you need to commit that file. um, and again, there are two options where you can add this file to staging, or you can restore. When I say git restore, basically it goes, okay, let's do that. So let's say if I do git restore, basically I want to restore to the previous version. I don't want to commit this. So as you see over here, git restore in the file name. What is our file name? It is hello.txt. So if I just type hello.txt, enter. Hold on, did not match. Did I saved it? Um, Let me. Oh, sorry, my bad. This is in the subfolder. First, I have to go inside the subfolder. So here's the thing, how I can find this. I bumped into this issue, right? It gave me an error saying that, hey, did not match any file known to git hello.txt. That was weird, right? Because we just made a change. And the easiest way to find this kind of issues is just type git, let's say we are doing restore. Oh, here, ideally, if this hello.txt file is in the same directory, so don't type the file name, just type h, press tab, and if you see it is not showing any files um, in this directory, and if I go to the subfolder, and again I just press tab, I'm not typing all letters, and over here if I do git restore and the file name, so in this case hello.txt, I'm just typing letter h, pressing the tab, and if you see immediately it picked up that file, and I press enter, and it just reverted. Voila, see over here, that line is gone. It has restored back to its previous committed state. Okay, so let me add that again. I am stubborn, writing the line again. I'm stubborn and writing the line again. Or I changed my mind, whatever, something. Okay, you're just making this, I'm just giving an example of you updating your code. So, okay. Now, if I do git status again, and again, I'm using my up and down arrow keys. So if you see whatever I typed, it will come. Um, so I don't have to type again. I'm just using the arrow keys. In the git status, it shows, hey, you have a file modified, hello.txt. Um, do you want to commit it? So yes. So in the previous session, we learned we used to do git add and dot and then git commit. Now I want to do both of them in one shot. So how we can do that? I just said git commit directly. Um, and I also put uh, an option called -a, which is add, and also -m to put the message. So if you see, I'm doing two commands in one shot. That is, I'm putting git commit. I'm doing add by using this -a. I'm also committing by giving my message. So instead of two commands, I'm doing in one command. I'm saying git commit -a -m. M is for message, and say added third line, something like that. I don't know, some message. Press enter. So if you see, it says, hey, added third line, which was my message, and it says one file change, two insertions, and one deletion. So if I'll just clear this and I'll say git status. If there's anything, there's nothing, we are good. And if I do git log, now this is a new command. I want to see is where what all commits I have done so far. So if I just type git log, I think we touched on this one last time. And if you see over here, I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4 commits. This was done on August 17th. Um, Again, we did something on August 22nd, which is today. And yeah, this was done earlier at 2:21. This we are doing now at 2:41 p.m. Okay, this is all good. Um, but let's say if I want to see more, okay, what I really changed in this or what I really changed in this. So the another command which you can, not another command, the same command which you can do is the git log. Just go with an option -p. Okay, and when you press enter, you'll see it gives a lot of details. So for example, this was the command I entered, and this is the first thing I see over here. It says, okay, there was a commit done with a message added third line. What was the details? And it also gives me details like, okay, I removed adding second line, and this what it shows the changes. This is what was there, and this is what I did. Um, so if you see, it shows a line removed or deleted and two lines added. So similarly, you can see in next one also, what all things got changed. Again, it gives, for example, the git ignore file. I removed underscore dot ts store and I added dot. If you see a period, that is the extension, that file, that is over here. This was not the case. Over here, I added that dot, and hence it is saying added. So like this, you can see more details on each of them. I'm just pressing down arrow key. You can see all the differences. What was changed in your each commit. I press letter Q and I come out of that. So this, the two commands you learned. So that is git log and again git log with -p. There was also one more thing which we touched based on last time, that was git diff. So let's check that out. What is git diff does exactly. So I'll just clear the screen and let's say I'm learning git diff save. I've not committed this file, but now it is showing, hey, one file has been modified, and hence it shows the letter M. And even if I do git status now, it'll give me that file, hey, hello.txt has been modified. And either you can add that file or restore it. We saw restore, it just reverts back to the previous committed version. So now I just do git diff. And if you see over here, this is where the git diff comes into picture compared to git log -p. In git diff, it shows the git diff works until I don't do a commit. So here I can see in this file, it says, hey, hello.txt, this is what there, this is there inside this subfolder, and there are some changes which you have done. For example, before yeah, so over here it says yeah, so if you see in this previous one, I never had, so this is what it's saying. I'm stubborn and writing the line again. And if you see over here, I'm learning the git diff, which was not there in the previous version. So if you see in the previous one, it is saying this line removed in the previous one and this adding again. So I would say is most probably I would have pressed a backspace or something. I don't recollect, hence it's trying to show this removed, but pay attention to this part where it is showing I added a new line. I'm learning git diff. And this is where the git diff comes into picture is it shows the differences between your new changes which you have modified versus the one which you have not com to the committed version. So let's say let's do one more thing, right? So um, also I'm trying to see more difference, and I press save, and again let's do git diff. So if you see over here, see in this line, again it says removed and this. So in this, um, and then yeah, I'm trying to think on this one. Did I add any space? I'm just checking each of them why it is showing removed and added again. I think I don't see any white spaces. Yeah, I'm just trying to check if there is any additional white spaces. But anyways, so if you see on this one, it says clearly this has been added. So let's try to enter one more line. Um, Adding the fifth line. Yeah, I think I'm running out of sentences, so I'm just writing simple lines. Okay, I saved it. I do. Let me clear this out. Clear, get diff. And if you see over here, yeah, I would have done something. I have definitely would have added space or something, and hence it is showing this remote. But if you see over here, now added the fifth line, it is showing added the fifth line, which was this is newly added. So let's try to remove this period. I save it again to get def. It is still showing that. Okay, but I think you got the gist of it. Okay, the difference between the git diff and the git log minus p. Um, so we learned. So if I go back, so we learned few more things today. That is git diff, git log minus p, and also git log. I would say git log. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this session and learned something new. Let's meet in on our next session, which I will go into the details of creating branches and also the difference between the local repository versus a remote repository. Thanks. Enjoy your learning, and please don't forget the assignment to find out how you can find what has been set in your global variable of your git config. Okay. Thanks. Bye.